Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Thanks for joining in today. We are on the KCS Greenville subdivision, and today is day one of our operation series. We're going to run our first train today, and if I'm honest with you, it's the only train that we currently can run. However, it's going to be a lot of fun. I do apologize for missing an upload this last week, but I was busy getting everything set up for this one right here. So hopefully you guys will enjoy, and we're going to run today the one and only, the Diana Local. Alright, so here's a brief overview of Diana with all of our cars. This is where we're going to spend most of our time today as we work these industries. We will, however, briefly head over to Judson on the left, and we will take a look at that here in just a second. Alright, here we are in Judson. This is also a bit of the work we're going to do as we work a few of these industries, so let's take a look at our switch list and see what all we need to do. Alright, feel free to pause the video here as we take a look at our switch list. So I have set this up in JMRI with scheduling. I've also programmed some locomotives. So we've got our two switch engines we're going to grab from Diana Yard. We've got quite a bit of work here to do in Diana. So we've got some things we're picking up in Diana. We're going to move them to the yard to be picked up by Trainz later. We've got some cars that are already in the yard that are going to be delivered to different places, as in some of the industries. And then a few of our cars are going to be picked up from Diana Yard and actually heading over to Judson. So these are the cars we're going to be switching in Judson, just 7 of them. And the 3 that we bring back from Judson, we will set out into the yard. I don't think we actually have any that go from Judson directly to another industry. And the reason for that is because I have set up the scheduling here to be where any car that picks up a load gets shipped off map. So if we have a car that finishes empty, that can be delivered somewhere else to another industry on the route. But if we have any cars that are loaded, we're shipping those off map to kind of simulate that long distance concept of transporting cargo. So if you're curious about how to do that in JMRI, feel free to check out one of my older videos in the series where I talked about how to use JMRI to simulate long distance loads. But here it is. Feel free to take a pause and read through everything. For the most part, I probably won't reference it back anymore here as I go through this, but you can take a look for as long as you need right now. All right, let's get to it. Little hiccup there with my brakes. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and pull the yard goats here out of the yard. And what I decided we'll do first is we will take all of the pickups off of tracks 1 and 2 in the yard, and let's get everything blocked according to their destination so that when we go do our setouts and pickups, we can be much more efficient. All right, here we are pulling out the first cut. If you have a subwoofer, now's the time to turn it up. All right, going to go ahead and pull out here. We've got our first car that we are blocking. So we have most of the cars you're looking at right now are all going to be delivered today. But we have our cars for Judson. We're going to go ahead and just kind of get those together so we can get them out of the way and work on our cars for Diana. All right, our next move here is to get these 3 box cars kind of to the right here. We've got the UP box car. We've got the rail box right here, center screen, and then we have that cotton belt box car right to the left by the coal hopper. Those 3 box cars all need to go together because they're going to get set out just to the right over here at James Brick. So our next set of moves are going to be getting those in order on track 3. All right, now we have gotten most of those together on track 3. Technically, track 3 is a track that is reserved for cars that are going to be leaving Diana and Judson and heading back north to Hugh Springs. However, since it's empty, we get to use it today. On a lot of days, this yard's going to be pretty full. So in the future, if this yard were full, we would have to use either the main or the siding, which naturally, of course, we would have the time and the space to do. All right, of the cars you're looking at right now, the center beam and those two coal hoppers that are empty are all going to be left here. We're not going to be switching those today, but all four of these covered hoppers, we are going to go get ready and put those in our train because we're going to be delivering those. This is our next move, and then once this is done, we'll actually start switching some industries. All right, we just need to get these three covered hoppers over here onto track 1, get the center beam back onto track 2, and then it's time to start switching out industries. First up is Samples Packers. All right, here we are bringing our first cut for Samples Packers. We have 2 reefers and a boxcar to set out. We are coincidentally actually picking up 2 reefers and a boxcar as well, although it will not always be that symmetrical. There are 2 boxcars that we're going to hold in that spur. But you might be wondering if we consistently use the main while switching here, and the answer is yes. That is because this is a branch line that only sees 3 trains a day, and 2 of those trains either terminate or originate in this yard. So really there's only 1 train that goes all the way through, and therefore there is not a lot of traffic. So we kind of have the freedom to use the main as much as we wish. All right, we're going to go ahead and leave the entire cut here temporarily on the main as we set our cars out, and then we will come back and sort those we're taking and those we're leaving. It is common practice to put any new setouts at the back of the spur, hence why we are setting these cars off on the main line temporarily out of the way. But as soon as we get our setouts placed, we will go right back and grab those and get the crossing back in Ore City cleared up. All right, we're going to pull these cars up and leave them on the siding so we can go ahead and run around. We need to do this because the remaining industries to switch all need to be accessed from the north side, and we also need to get to the north side of these cars. So I will see you guys in just a few minutes right after we finish that move. All right, so we're going to take those 2 covered hoppers at the end of our cut. We're going to come over here and connect those to the 2 loaded coal hoppers. All those cars together are going to Simpson Cement. Those reefers and the boxcar that we have with us, we're going to set those out on track 3, and we're going to clear track 3 and get the 2 bulkheads and the gondola back onto track 1 because we're going to be taking those with us to Judson once we're done switching the 2 industries left over here in Diana. All right, now we're ready to switch out Simpson Cement and James Brick. Once we finish our setouts and our pickups there, we will be ready to head to Judson, and this job will almost be finished. Fun thing about this, it's been just a little bit over an hour, and we are about at the halfway point, so plenty of evidence that you can get lots of action out of a very small part of your railroad. All right, of the 2 cars here at James Brick, we only have 1 that we're picking up, and that is the one that's closest to the locomotives. We're going to grab that one. Actually, we're going to grab both. That way we can connect to our setouts, and then we'll go ahead and put the setouts at the back and take the hold car or the pickup with us. All right, now that James Brick is done being switched, we're going to reconnect to the rest of our train and back up and work Simpson Cement. All right, we're going to take this 1 spur at a time. So there are 3 spurs at Simpson's. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the whole spur and then take our cut of cars, set out any cars that go to that spur, and then put our holds back on the spur. That will be our plan, and we'll work it 1 at a time, and then that will make sure everything gets in the right place, in the right order, and that all of our pickups are at the front of the train with our locomotives. All right, so after checking the switch list, I've noticed that track 3 here has 5 setouts and only 2 pickups. one of those pickups we're going to shuffle over to track 1, to be loaded with cement. And so what I realize here is when we're done with this spur is probably going to be packed full with no space left over. So we'll see if that's the truth. I definitely suspect that will be the case here. This SB hopper here at the back of our cut, this is the one that's going to go from track 3 to track 1. And since this CSX hopper on the left is also going to track 1, we're going to go ahead and put these together and then put the rest of our cars back on to track 3. We do have 2 pickups that I forgot to mention. That is the Cotton Belt hopper here at the end of our cut and the Edison cement car at the front of the covered hoppers as well. Both of these actually are going to go with us. They're just not going to other tracks at Simpsons, but they are going to the yard in Diana. All right, here we got 2 hoppers coming in to be delivered, but first we got to grab our 2 pickups, which are also 2 hoppers. It won't always be symmetrical like this, but it is this time. It's just because it's our first time running it and things are pretty balanced. But we'll go ahead and get these 2 pickups out of the way and put our setouts back in there, and then we'll be done with track 2. All right, here we are making our 2 setouts and putting 2 of our cars back because they're cars to be held for next time. And finally, after dropping off these 4 cars back into track 1, we can put our train back together and go set these cars over in tracks 3 and 4 in the yard and get on to Judson. So overall here at Simpson Cement, we set out 8 cars, picked up 6, not a bad day at all. Plenty of variability there and some good action. So now let's get on over to track 4. If you look back on the switch list, you'll notice that it does have some cars go to track 3 and some to track 4. The truth is I run these as a pool, so it doesn't actually matter whether the cars go on 3 or 4 as long as they go on one of those 2 tracks, because 3 and 4 are tracks for outbound cars from Diana, and 1 and 2 are for cars that are inbound to Diana. And beyond that gives you a lot more flexibility just to kind of get things out of the way, and you don't have to be too picky or time consuming about getting them on certain tracks. Well, in a nice balanced fashion, we have now filled up for the most part tracks 1 and 2. Tracks 3 and 4, and emptied for the most part tracks 1 and 2. So everything is in nice balance. I do think next time I run this local, I will make a few changes to the length of the train just to try to get a few more cars in and out. But we'll see. I'll run it a couple more times over the next couple months and see if I want to make some adjustments. But overall, I think this has been really good so far. So let's go ahead and connect to these bulkheads in the gondola, head over to Judson, and once we finish the switching at Judson, we'll go ahead and call it a day on this video. So let's get right to it. All right, so as we head out for Judson, just want to acknowledge that in the last clip there, you probably heard a lot of noise in the background. That is my new video production supervisor. She is coming to me fresh out of her first birthday. So she's at about 16 months, and let me tell you, she is a bossy one now, and she runs a hard bargain. So she's staying with me for now, and I don't really have the opportunity to do any filming when she's not around. She's definitely making sure I'm doing my job correctly. So I apologize if the little smacking noise there in the background bothered you guys, but it was just her playing around with a little bracelet. So, but definitely love her, and you know what? If that's what it takes to train up a new rail fan, I would do it every day of the week. One thing about coming into Judson is that all of the industries here in Judson are switched from the north end, and so the first thing you do is you bring your train in and dump it either on the siding or the main line, and then you do a runaround. So after we get that runaround done, we will go ahead and start working our switch list. We don't have too much to do here today, so it won't take us too long. All right, so we have decided that since there are no pickups at the scrapyard over on the left, we're going to go ahead and grab those 3 cars, get them out of the way real quick so we can put our set out back there at the back, and then we will put them back since they're hold cars, and then we'll go ahead and switch the cast concrete facility on the right, and then that will be it for Judson. Well, it's not every day that you have 3 pickups on the same track at the same industry, but we will definitely take it today. All we're doing now is backing up to connect to these last 2 bulkheads. We will set those out and head on back to Diana from that point. All right, well, passing by Satterwhite Lumber here, we do have 1 empty car we need to grab. We will grab that off camera. For now, I'll go ahead and sign off, but I want to say thank you guys for joining. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for more videos. I really enjoyed making this one. Glad to be able to finally get an operating session in on this railroad now that we've come so far building it to this point. So I'm going to get back into some build videos for the route as we expand it eastwards. Stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.